Morning, everybody, and welcome to Caseware's Get Ahead for 2024. 30 years ago, just about when I was still at university, Caseware started supporting the finance profession in South Africa. That means you are following in the footsteps of, according to our calculations, more than 50,000 other trainee accountants that have been where you are today. So it's a very exciting time for us at Caseware. When we look back at many of those trainee accountants and practices today, they head up listed corporations, they perform CFO and FM roles, both in corporations and public sector around South Africa and some around the world too. All of them have been proud Caseware users over the years, and Caseware have helped them get ahead through their careers over this time. So we're delighted to have so many of you with us today, and to start this journey of partnering with you through your time with Caseware as you learn to use this tool to maximize your learning, your value that you create for the firms you're working during your articles while you learn and develop as trainee accountants. Today will be of access to many different avenues for us to support you and help you during that time. And I think you'll be delighted to meet some of our team throughout the morning and get to know us as a brand and how we will help you get ahead and perform and deliver fantastic work to your stakeholders over your careers. I'd like to hand over to Christian Brink, our product executive. This was his brainchild, and I think we'll definitely see all the firms you work for, all your stakeholders enjoy the work you'll deliver with our investment in helping you be the best accountants and finance professionals you can do. Enjoy today and be sure to attend all the upcoming webinars in the full series to obtain maximum value. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Get Ahead. My name is Christian Brink, and I and my teams at Caseware Africa oversee all the products and solutions that we create and maintain and serve our customers with. We are absolutely delighted to have you join us this morning, and we trust that you will enjoy what you will be learning, and especially a big welcome to all our intakes who are starting their careers. At Caseware Africa, we are very passionate about creating solutions that provide you with world-class compliance, and especially helping you to get more done faster in doing your work and serving your clients. We really are excited for you all on the learning journey ahead. So enjoy the coming weeks and months ahead and spending time with our teams and learning and empowering your success. So with that, enjoy the morning ahead and the sessions that are coming this week and in the weeks ahead. And I'd like to hand over now to Jayesh Hargovan, who heads up our client success team, to say a few words before we kick off this morning's session. So Jayesh, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jayesh. I head up the client success area here at Caseware. We look after all of your needs from a consulting, training, and support perspective. We have to make sure that you get success with our products and help you through this journey. Like Christian and Jody said before me, we're really excited about this event and we hope that you get the most out of it. So please stay and get maximum value from this product. I'll now hand over to Sandrine from our Mauritius branch, who will be taking you through the rest of the day's session. Enjoy.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. Apologies for that. This is Sandrine speaking to you. I am the branch manager. I'm based in Mauritius. Apologies, I was on mute. That's the hiccup of technology, you know. So I'm quickly going to go through the introduction of what is Caseware, how do you use Caseware. We're also today going to know how to create and learn how to create a Caseware file. I will share with you the recommended best practices. We will also learn what is a trial balance, what's the importance of a trial balance for us. We will go through the importing of a trial balance. How do you import a T on Caseware? There will be a quick introduction of what is mapping. Usually the mapping will be done by your senior or your different team members, but we want to empower you because we really want you to get ahead into your career. We want to show you how the mapping is done. And if you can contribute to your team, I think that's going to be 100%. Then by the end of the session, we will go through the Caseware tools. We will empower you with how to use the different Caseware options, tips and tricks, how to go faster into Caseware. And then we will end the session with the Q&A. Polite request, so all the attendees are currently muted. If you have any question, please feel free to use the chat. If you have a comment or if you want to share something, please use the chat function. If we lose the signal during the presentation, or if you lose the signal during the presentation, please exit, enter the webinar again, and or you could either use the browser. We will, however, have, I think it's a 5 minutes break, not break, but there will be a loss in connectivity around 10, but we'll be here. It's going to take us 30 seconds. Please do stay online. Caseware Cloud empowers you as a user with a cost-effective cloud platform where you can access your data safely in a centralized location. I'm just quickly gonna close my camera because I'm just conscious of connectivity. The technology is mimicking nature more and more since the internet brought us its massive web of interconnectivity. At Caseware Africa, we believe that a powerful ecosystem should allow you as a user to work, collaborate, and benefit from interconnected software platforms. Our financial reporting products, assurance, tax, and secretarial management products on Caseware Cloud allow you to seamlessly access all the services of your practice from one single location. Now, whether you're part of a small accounting firm or a network firm, Caseware Africa has a range of assurance solutions in our ecosystem, which include Audit International, a robust automated risk-based auditing solution for audit firms of all sizes. So for those of you who use Audit International, we will explore that further on Friday. Same for probe audit, auditing that's easier, faster, complies with the latest standards on auditing. This also will be explored this Friday for those who have opted for the probe session. We also have in the assurance ecosystem, in our ecosystem, in the assurance part, the SQM, an intuitive cloud-based solution, streamlining your firm's system of quality management. In the assurance, we also have Caseware Idea, your firm's favorite data analytics product. And also, last but not least, the ISRS agreed upon for a more streamlined agreed upon engagement. This week and next week, our focus will be on financial reporting solution of Caseware's ecosystem. When combined with Caseware Cloud and SmartSync, your teams, your team members, and even yourself, you can collaborate seamlessly together on the same engagement wherever you are. Based in Mauritius, based in Kenya, in Uganda, in Nigeria, you can all work together. That was a quick introduction of Caseware ecosystem, mainly the assurance and the financial reporting section. Now we're going to dive into the technology itself, the Caseware working paper. Now, how does it work? How does Caseware working paper work? And I'm sure most of you must be wondering, what is that? So let's start with I'm quickly gonna activate my pointer, my laser pointer. Hope that you can see it. So let's start with that Caseware working paper. If you should follow my pointer, this is the application that has been installed on each and every computer of a user. So if you are currently in this session on your laptop, I'm sure you have a Caseware working paper installed onto your machine. That's the application. Then we have the templates, the different templates that assist you in creating professionally formatted, for instance, financial statements compliant with IFRS and IFRS for SME or GRA. The Pro and the Audit International templates then link to the IFRS template on your Caseware working paper in a real time, hence providing you for an efficient and automated approach to your audit engagements. The audit templates, just a quick definition of what's the audit template. It provides you with guidance, non-authoritative guidance on applying international standards on auditing. In other words, it helps you to perform compliant audits. So that's the template which is on your application, which is Caseware working paper. Then you have the Caseware connector. Your connector will allow you to copy or to bring any figure, any information from your application and your template to an Excel or a Word. So we will explore connector as we progress, and I'm sure this is going to make more sense. And then last but not least, in that whole ecosystem, we have your Caseware Cloud. This is the application that will allow you to work seamlessly and access your different engagement files. Before we move ahead into using Caseware, there is one important item that I really hope that you guys have your a pen and paper that you can write down. That's the Caseware community. You can access a bank of knowledge from this webpage. So the webpage is success.casewareafrica.com. So let me quickly repeat it, success.casewareafrica.com. It is your website. 2 a.m. in the morning, you're just wondering, hey, how do I import that trial balance? I forgot that lady Sandrine who spoke last time. So you simply log in onto success.casewareafrica.com, click on the getting started, and you can access a bank of videos, 30 minutes, 5 minutes videos, depending on what you're looking for, and this can help you to progress in any engagement that you have. We also have a very search function where you can use to find whatever you need on Caseware. The search function is on the top bar on Success Community. You can type in any keyword and press on the search. You can also browse by category depending on which product you're looking for. For instance, you want to know how to prepare a financial statement or import a TB, you can then go to financial statements if you've typed trial balance, and then look maybe for FAQ, a how-to guide, a manual that you can also download, or video. Now, let's now begin into Caseware, and our very first step is to create a new file. Before I start showing you how to create a file, I just want to mention that we have shared with you a folder with different documents. Please make sure that the folder is unzipped saved onto your computer so that you can access the documents. I'm quickly going to escape the presentation just to show you a folder that has been shared with you with the different documents. You've got a Word document, some PDFs, and a trial balance. Please take a few seconds to quickly, if you don't have it, download it and unzip it. The link is also in the chat. In the event you can't find it onto your email or with your colleagues. Now, before I jump into the presentation again, you should also find onto your desktop a clock-like icon. If you should follow my cursor, top left of my screen, that's Caseware working paper. On your desktop, it could be anywhere, right? It shouldn't be just top left. So find that icon. Kindly double click on it to launch your application. Give it a few seconds and it shall launch your Caseware working paper 2023 version. And that's the first window that you will see on your screen. I'm quickly going to give you 60 seconds to allow you to open, download from the link if required, and then we shall progress. Alrighty, I hope that you do have your Caseware working paper open, that you've downloaded the folder that we gave you. Let's now go back to the presentation. Sorry, I'm just quickly gonna switch the display settings, swap it. Here we go. We have introduced in Caseware working paper the engagement cycle. This is to help you in the journey of getting to know Caseware. We've created the engagement cycle concept that will take you through all the steps that you must perform in order to be successful in completing an engagement file. In our scenario, in today's webinar and also tomorrow, our engagement, our work is to prepare a financial statement for our client. We want to prepare a set of financial statement compliant with the full IFRS. Guys, please do rest assured in the next slide, we will explore the definition of the financial statements. We are here to assist you today. So we will define what is a financial statement. For now, let's take baby steps in the engagement cycle. Let's learn and explore together the best practices in Caseware. The step number one in the cycle is to create a file for our client on Caseware. This particular step can either be done by yourself if your manager instructs you, or it will have already been done by your senior in some cases. So to create a Caseware working paper engagement file, you will go to the blue ribbon. If you have opened your Caseware working paper, the File tab is the first tab top left of your screen. File New, and then type in the name of your client under the type in your new file name here. We are going to call the client in this scenario, Wrap Up Manufacturing Pty Limited. The recommended best practice is to write the name of your client based on your naming convention, your firm's naming convention. If you don't know what's in your firm's naming convention, please feel free to ask your manager. Usually, it will be the name of the client followed by the year-end date. So guys, we're going to go slowly. I will show you step by step how to do that. So I'm going to escape that presentation and do that step with you. So I reiterate the closed Caseware just for now, just to show you where to get your application. So on your desktop, locate your Caseware Working Papers 2023x64, that icon, it's like cock-like icon, I like to call it like this. Double click to open your Caseware from your desktop. And your application should then open. Then remember to create a file. You're going to select the new tab, top left of your screen on the blue ribbon. Then insert the name of your client where it says new file name. You're going to type in here, Wrap Up Manufacturing Pty Limited, 30th of April, 2023. Giving you, again, 30 seconds to find your way to insert the name of your client. Now, this client, Wrap Up Manufacturing Limited, 30th of April 2023, will be created in the folder C Program Files x86 Caseware Data. In other words, if you're used to, let's say, Microsoft Word, if you open a blank Word, you have to go to File, Save, and name your file to folder. In Caseware, we make things easier for you. It will be automatically saved in the dedicated folder C Program Files x86 Caseware Data. You don't need to change that location. That's the default location, and recommended best is to leave it onto that location. The next step, remember our scenario. We are busy creating a file for an engagement whereby we want the end output is the financial statements. So we are going to select in this scenario the IFRS template, the IFRS 2023 template, and you've got two options: create file, create and import data. We are going to select create file. And when you select create file, it is a blank copy. All the components within the template will be put into Wrap Up Manufacturing Limited. Again, you don't have anything to do like a drag and drop and copy anything. The technology takes care of that for you. Whatever you have in the template, remember the contents will be automatically copied to your engagement file to Wrap Up Manufacturing Limited. You must log in order to copy from this file. You will always get that the first time you create an engagement file. So we are going to press on OK. You are prompted to enter your username and password to log in. A username and password will be defaulted to SUP and password SUP. That's the default password for everybody. SUP for username and SUP for password. Then press on OK to confirm, because we want to copy from the template, which is password protected. It will be busy copying all the required files. Let me go back to my slide and continue to explain. So we've seen the first step of our engagement cycle, which is the creation of an engagement file. But remember, that step, you should ask your manager or your supervisor, should you create a file or not? Usually they will guide you in that. If it is yes, the question is, what the name of our client? What is its period, its year end? And the third question, Mr. Manager or Mrs. Manager, what is our naming convention? How should I write the name of our file? Then the next step is to select the template. We're busy creating a financial statement. Select the template IFRS, click on create file, insert SUP, password and username, same SUP. And then we can, in a few moments, move to the step number 2. Now, okay, still copying on my side. I'm sure it's also copying on your side. Guys, I just want to remind you, it's a piece of technology which is extremely powerful. So it will take time in some cases to copy and create the file. Do not force close, do not force shutdown, give it time. So I like to tell when I'm with the different clients in Mauritius telling me, hey, Sandrine, it's taking 30 seconds. Yes, 100%. If it was a human doing that, like manually, it would have taken us 3 days, 4 days, if you're very good. So just the message, just be patient, just a little bit, the file will be copied. In a few moments, maybe some of you already have it, you will get another pop-up where you will be requested to log in again a second time. So you need to again insert SUP. That's the default login to get into your client file. So the second time you get the prompt is to log in on Wrap-Up Manufacturing or any other engagement file. We will change that username and password later, but for now, in a few moments on my screen, it will pull as well, SUP a second time. So in some cases, in the room, some of the users, you won't have the IFRS 2023 template, you might have the IFRS for SME template. Please do feel free to select your IFRS for SME, select create file, and proceed with SUP. It's the same principle. The difference is the compliance. You've got the full IFRS template, you've got the IFRS for SME template, and if you see on my screen, I also have the IFSS template. So depending on the requirements of your managers, then you select the right template. I'm going to insert my username SUP a second time and a password a second time. Remember, we have only 2 prompts upon creation of a file, and press on OK. So I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes just to get, if you have not yet selected the template, you're wondering which one to select, make sure that you select either IFRS or IFRS for SME. Insert SUP for the first time to log in onto the template, to be able to copy, and then a second time to be able to access your engagement file, Wrap-Up Manufacturing Limited. And if for some of you, you are done, just give us 1 more minute so that everyone's on the same screen like I have on mine, and then we will progress. All right, I trust that you all have been able to create your file, insert your different passwords, SUP. We can now move to the second step in the engagement cycle. Step number 2 is all about entering client information. So the client information such as your client's reporting dates, like what is the year-end date of the client. The expectation is you would already have requested that to your manager upon creation of the file, because you requested the manager, okay, what's the client, what's its year end, to be able to write it in a correct format. In the entering of client information part, we also need to insert correct name of the client. So we're going to introduce to you the engagement setup. We also have information about your clients, such as the director's detail, the country of incorporation, the currency, the different tax, what is the period that you are going to prepare. So we're going to explore all of that into that section 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain to you how to fill up the engagement setup, then we can do it together on the software. So that's the engagement properties screen. That's the heart of your engagement. When you create the engagement file for the first time, this is what you will see. The first tab, if you should follow my pointer, quickly selecting my pointer, you should follow my pointer, the reporting dates tab. This is what you will see when you create an engagement file. The year-end date, this is where you select the year-end date of the client. There's a little drop down next to the year-end date. You can click on it and access the calendar and select the proper year-end. When you will press on tab on your keyboard, so if you look at your keyboard to the left, far left of your keyboard, there's the tab key. When you will press on that, the year-end date will set up automatically. You can also, if required, change the year begin date in the event your client doesn't prepare a full 12-month financial statement. The reporting date sequences will automatically be selected monthly, yearly, monthly, 12. Recommended best practice is to keep those selected, those checkbox selected as is. There's nothing to change here unless your manager instructs you otherwise. We won't go into the complexities of random setup, etc. But for now, what you need to remember is to allow the monthly, yearly, monthly, monthly 12. Then the next step will be to jump to the name or address tab, the first tab on the engagement property window, and insert the name of your client under the operating name. So we'll do that just now together. Then you have the contact 1, contact 2 details. That will be the contact details of the client, like it could be the finance manager, the CFO, or any other person that you'll be talking to for this particular engagement. So now let me jump back to my application, to Caseware, and show you how to fill up the engagement property. And by the way, on your practice set, on your Word document, we're currently on page 3. So we're done step number 1. We're going to do the step number 2, the engagement property. So the year end that we want to select is 30th of April 2023. So to select the year end, click on the drop down next to the year end. There's a little arrow facing downwards. So you can click on that. It will show you your calendar. Then you can click on the month and year on the top of the calendar. It will show you the different months for the year. You can also then press on the year. You'll see the different years. That's a quick tip if ever you need to prepare a set of FS, let's say for 2022, you can easily access the year and the period. For us, for this wrap-up manufacturing engagement, kindly select 2023. Then we are busy looking at the month of April, so select the April month, and the date is the 30th. Select 30. To set up your year begin date, you can press on Tab key on your keyboard. Your year begin date will set up automatically. We are not going to change our period date sequences. We're going to leave it to monthly, yearly, monthly, monthly 12. Now, what does it mean? It will simply allow us to import different 12 trial balance if the client gave us for the TB on a monthly basis, and also to compute our yearly figure. If your client gives you only one trial balance for the year at year end, that's still okay. You're going to import on month 12. So we are going to do that part of importing of a trial balance, what this is just now. We just explain to you what does this reporting date sequences mean. Now we can jump to the name and address. And the most important part here is the operating name. This is where you want to insert the name of the engagement as you want it to appear on the face of the financial statement. It's not the client, it's not the engagement or address or any other. The one which is important here is the operating name. And we've tried to help you by inserting IFRS Limited. So please do remember to update this to the name of your clients. So we're going to call it Wrap-Up Manufacturing Limited. Obviously, if you have the addresses, you've got information around the different country of incorporation phone number, you could still fill the rest, but this is easy for our session, right? So we're going to concentrate on what's important. You must have noticed as well, I did not insert the year end at the end of the operating name, because on the if you think about the face of financial statement, there's a very nice name of the client, and then just beneath it the period, etc. that very nice name is pulling from here, from that engagement properties operating name. If you are done, you can press on OK to close the engagement property. In the event you've closed by mistake the engagement property, you want to get it back. So you can go on the top of your screen. We call this the Caseware working paper ribbon. You've got the engagement tab. If you should follow my cursor, top left of my screen, engagement. Click on that tab and then select in the first group engagement, there's the engagement property. And you can, if you've forgotten to write the operating name correctly, you can then insert it here. Right, and to close it again, you simply select OK. So now, before we go any further into that step number 2, remember I told you in step number 2, we need to insert reporting dates, operating name, directors details, country of incorporation, and more. Before we go into the details of that, I would like to introduce you the application. What do you see currently on the screen? What are all these different tabs and the different folders you see in here? So for that, let me quickly open my slideshow. Okay. So this is the document manager. What you currently see on your screen, we define it as a document manager. The document manager is your electronic filing system. This is where you will back up all the work. Whatever you do here, you're going to put it onto the document. You receive a supporting document from the client. You receive an Excel, a Word document, a PDF. You can copy and paste it onto that screen. Now, I really like the top of my slide where you see the little dinosaur and those old, I don't know how you call that. It's a flip file, or I forgot the name because I don't use it anymore. Nobody uses that anymore. I mean, back in the days, I used it, but okay, nobody wants to know my age. But now we want to use the document manager. That's the electronic way of working. That's how your firm is currently having 100% paperless engagement file. The top part of the screen, we call that the Caseware working paper tabs. You have the home tab, that's the first tab that you will see. The engagement tab, this is where you can easily access engagement properties, for example. You've got the account tab, another important tab that you will use. I will introduce to you the mapping part. The tools one can also help you, for example, if your manager wants you to create your login to the file. Then you have the template toolbar. This is found just beneath the Caseware working paper ribbon. The toolbar, we can describe it as a quick jump, so you can quickly jump back to document manager if you're on another screen by clicking on documents. You can easily select issues. If your manager has created a task for you, usually it will be under issues. So you can click on issues. It will show you all the stuff that has been assigned to you. The trial balance quick jump allows you to jump quickly to the working trial balance to see the work that you have, or the figures that you have from the client that you have imported into your engagement file. You can easily also jump to adjusting journal entries that we will explore later today. Next, the document manager is made up of folders and subfolders. So you can double click or also click on the arrow icon next to the folder to open a folder. To close it as well, you can use the double clicking. I also like to use my keyboard actually. There's the arrows that help you to open and close your folders. You can also use that if you want. Within each folder, you will get a set of documents, different types of document. You have, first of all, a document reference. That will be the document number and the type of a document. You also have a document. So all the documents will have a name. You can read through. And to open a document, you can double click to launch the document, to open it. Now we've got two different types of document by default in Caseware. First of all, we've got the case view document. That's the little paper-like icon with a C on it. That's a case view document. It's a report writer application. We can a little bit compare it to a Word, but it's an advanced Word where you have items that you can fill up. You've got areas that allow you to type in information. Then, very important, usually your audit procedures will be in a case view format, because obviously you must be able to comment or to type something. The information store is also in a case view document format. This information store allows you to type in details of your client. For example, the country of incorporation, the currency, the tax details, the banks, the director's details. So just anything, this will pull from the information store from case view document. Then you have, last but not least, the financial statements, which will be also from a case view document, because again, it must allow you to type in anything relevant to the client on the financial statements. The other type of document that we have is the automatic document. So an automatic document is automatically created within the document manager. It will already pull information that you insert, such as the trial balance from the client, any journal entries that you could process. This will automatically show you the results. So we will explore the automatic document in more details this afternoon. The next item that we have on this session is the columns. So you'll see on your Caseware working paper, if you've opened it, you won't have many columns activated. You might have the name and maybe the tags, but not 100%. You might have only one column for the name. You can modify the different columns to reorder the columns to appear, to show you some relevant information. How do we do that? So if you should follow my pointer, let me activate again that pointer. So if you should follow my pointer, you've got just beneath the freeze, you've got the name column. You can right click on that. It's a white header. You can right click on that. Will show you different options. You've got the show options that allow you to show different columns. So I'm going to ask you to try that on your side. I'm also going to do it a second time, but please do try that. Right click over, let's say, the name column on your document manager. There will be the show option that will appear. The show option allows you to show one by one the different items. So you can select, for example, roll forward column. It will then pull for you just next to your name column, another column with a 31 icon on it. That's the roll forward column. As we progress into this series of Get Ahead, I'll give you more details of how to use that. I'll do a quick introduction what this is, but then we'll get more details as we progress. The roll forward column, for instance, mean that if it is selected, the document will appear again in next year file when you roll it forward. Rolling forward means when you're done with an engagement, let's say for wrap-up, we're doing an engagement for 2023. When we're done, we're going to close it. By done, I mean the financial statement is prepared, the client is signed, the auditor is signing the audit report, we're closing the deal, but the engagement, then you're going to create another one for next year. That's the rolling forward. If it is selected in that column, it means the document that you see will appear in next year file. Now, if you don't need a document for next year, then what will happen, you can deselect the roll forward. But before deselecting, recommendation is to talk to your supervisor and manager and ask him, do we need that document in our next year file? If it is yes, allow the selected checkbox. If not, you're going to deselect. So let's do that together. I'm going also to activate it on my side. It's actually already activated, but I'm going to do that with you. Right, so your screen should look something like that. So what we want to do is activate the roll forward. So I'm going to right click on the column where it says name, select the show, then look for roll forward. And boom, this is what you should see on your screen. Going to quickly check out if you have any questions around activating that one column. Then we will go to activating more columns. Now, we're not going to do it one by one, right? I'm sure you must be asking, what, am I going to select it, show, right-click, show all the time? No. So you can, if you right-click again over the name column to activate your show menu, there are two options, reorder columns, restore columns. Please select the reorder columns. That option allows you to see all the hidden column on the left-hand side of your screen, of that window rather, and allow you to then select which one you want to appear as active. The next one I would like you to activate is the roll forward as a placeholder. If you scroll down to the second part of your reorder table columns, you've got the roll forward as a placeholder. What does that one mean? It works the same way as a roll forward. Remember, the roll forward will roll your documents. If you've placed an Excel spreadsheet, it will roll the Excel. The roll forward as a placeholder, it is going to roll forward the document number and the name, but it will not be an Excel. It will be like, if you should follow my, on the top of the screen, there will be a paper icon with a pen on it. We call it a placeholder. It is a place where you can insert on it the Excel relevant for the current period. So it's just like, it acts like a bit a reminder of, okay, I have to copy that fixed asset register into my engagement file. It just reminds you that, okay, you must put something on here, an Excel, a Word, a PDF, it all depends on your engagement. And that's the beauty of the technology. You rest assured that next year, you're not going to forget to copy or to insert the document. So I'm going to select roll forward as a placeholder, then select the second arrow button facing to the left, and my roll forward as a placeholder is now in the active column. The next column I'd like you to insert is retain on cleanup. Select the retain on cleanup. This column will allow you to see which document will be retained when your manager will run a cleanup of the engagement. So the purpose of the cleanup is to make your file less, I like to call it heavy, and it's done by a senior person or your manager at the end of the engagement. Then the next column is the column. Kindly select the tags column under the hidden part of this window. It is now jumped under the active columns. So the tags allow, for example, your manager or even yourself to tag you or a task. So a concrete example would be, let's say you want to print a bunch of documents, right? You're not going to do it one by one. Defeats the purposes. You want to print everything bulk. You could also tag a document right to print and then bulk print the tag based on the tags. I'll show you as we progress in this session how we use the different tags in different scenarios. So we've got a question. We're being asked to go back a step to activate the reorder column window. So I'm just going to click on cancel here to cancel that whole process. So you should see on your screen the name column. So where it says name there, that's where I usually like to click because it's easy for you to see it. So locate the name, right click on it, and then select reorder columns. Just please do let me know if you, for those struggling, just say yes that you've been able to see it. So just quickly waiting for you to confirm that you've been able to activate your right-click menu, reorder columns. That's the reorder table columns window that should appear. And we've got another question asking us to explain again the retain on cleanup. I'm going to come to that one just now. Just waiting for your confirmations, 15 seconds, and then we're moving to inserting again the columns. It's sorted, yes, success. So let's now reactivate the columns. Let's start again. So I'm hoping that you have the roll forward already. If not, please select under the hidden column area of this window, the roll forward. You can click on it and use the bottom arrow button. Alternatively, if you have already done that, let's move to roll forward as a placeholder. Select it, then bottom arrow button, and it should jump under the active columns. The retain on cleanup means that when your manager will run a cleanup at the end of the engagement, a cleanup is self-explanatory word. It's cleaning, the technology is cleaning the documents that should, or it can be a document or it can be a task. Let me give you that example. Let's say your manager created an issue or task for you. Say, hey, Sandrine, please make sure that you have inserted that Excel on Document Manager. Now, next year, the manager maybe doesn't want to see that again. So there will be an option that allows the manager to not retain on cleanup. when ultimately at the end of the engagement, before closing the file, the manager runs the cleanup. It's cleaning the file, making it less heavy in terms of space that it is using on the computer. Then whatever is not marked to be retained will be removed. Whatever should be retained will then stay on the engagement file for next year. Hope that is better. But if you need more information, we'll gladly share with you our on Success community. Got a very nice video on what is cleanup, how to run the cleanup, when to run the cleanup. So I'm going to activate the retain on cleanup, move to the tags, select your tags, column, insert it under the active columns. Then you've got the lockdown. Activate your lockdown. You can click on the lockdown and activate it under active columns. So the lockdown will be used again as per your different, depending on which region you are. There's the different lockdown requirements. When you're done with the file, your manager, or when it is your audit report is signed off, there is a period after which you should lock down the file, meaning that all the documents will be read-only. You won't be able to change anything. There will be a padlock that will appear next to the document. So when a document is locked down or selected for lockdown, you know that next or whatever period that is your jurisdiction requirements, then the document is going to be in a read-only. Then there's the all issues. So recommended best practice is also to activate all the issues. An issue is exactly the example I given you earlier. That is, your manager is asking you, hey, I didn't see that onto the document manager. Make sure it's there. That's an issue. The all issue allow you to see all the issues created in the engagement file. Maybe you are assigned to the PPE section. Your colleague is assigned to the accounts receivable section. Both of you have different issues created by your manager. So the all issue allow you to see all the different issues created in the engagement, even if it's not assigned to you. So I'm just gonna activate that one. The all outstanding issues will be an issue that has not been cleared. Let's say my manager, let's stay on that example. My manager asked me to insert that fixed asset register, that Excel document onto here. Now, I did not reply. I didn't do anything. That's an outstanding issue. However, if I reply to my manager, hey, Mr. Manager, I've inserted the document. Kindly refer to document 1.1. I complete, so it will not be an outstanding issue. Now, as a user, it's important for you to see what are the outstanding stuff on your plate. You want to make sure that you complete everything, that the issues is clear. So that's important to have that one. We've got a question. I'm loving it, guys. Thank you for that participation. We've got a very nice question, the roll forward as a placeholder. So let me go back to the roll forward first, and then explain the roll forward as a placeholder. The roll forward, as the word explained, is, let's take that fixed asset register I've been talking that your manager has asked you to insert on document manager. We're currently in 2023. I've inserted my Excel for 2023 for fixed assets. If I select roll forward, that same Excel for 2023 is going to move to 2024 when we roll to 2024 financial year. That's the roll forward. Now, let's think of it. You would agree with me that 2023 fixed asset or Excel document will not necessarily be relevant for 2024. So the technology allows you to roll that Excel as a placeholder. Instead of rolling the full Excel, the technology is going to roll only the document number, the document name, and there will be like, it's actually a paper icon, arrow on it. The expectation is now you will not be able to find that Excel 2023. You will not be able to open it, but you're expected to then place on it the 2024 Excel. So that's the roll forward as a placeholder. It reminds you, you still need to insert that fixed asset Excel document for 2024 that time. The beauty of it, I will not have an issue from my manager reminding me, hey, Sandrine, please insert that Excel for 2024. That's the roll forward as a placeholder. Again, if it is not clear, I'd gladly share with you more details, or we can also discuss any further during the break or after the session. Let's now move to the next column that we would like to insert. That's the due date, the due date of issues. So the manager has created issues for us, and I'm sure they are going to also insert a due date, because remember, we're working on a time budget. So it's not like it's infinite, we can do it anytime. So having a due date activated will help you know, okay, I've got that issue of fixed asset Excel spreadsheet is due by, let's say, the 8th of February. So I've got to insert it before the 8th. So let's click on due date and it will move due date. Now, if you have your column, like in my case, my due date is just before my all outstanding issues. I want it to be after. So you can click on the column name, due date, and then click on the downward arrow button to the left of your window. And then it will move down. Let's continue. We also have the different sign off column, the planning by, the reviewed by, the performed by, the final review. For this one, guys, usually your manager would already set this up. So if you've got a person responsible for the planning, then the planning column is going to be activated. If somebody is responsible for review, the review will be activated, the performed by, the final review as well. In some cases, if you're from a small practice, you've got only two roles within your firm, your practice, then only two will be activated. So it all depends. And again, if you're not sure, please do connect with your managers and ask, what's the structure? How do we sign off the documents? Who's doing what? So I'm doing the performed by, so I should be which role. Okay, so I'm going to select the planning by role, then the performed by, then there will be somebody reviewing, and there will be a final review. Then last but not least, we can also select the modified column and activate this column. So this is to help you know when was a document last modified. You've worked on a particular document, you've closed it, you've saved it, because we're working in a cloud environment where we are collaborating. So somebody has opened a document and done a change or inserted something, inserted a document, you can see when it was done. That's the modified date. If you're happy, please select OK, and you should see your different columns appearing, and we will be using this into our engagement file going forward. Now, guys, If you've done that onto your computer, onto your laptop, rest assured, the settings will be saved for the other engagement file. You won't need to do it again unless there is a particular column you want to activate or to hide. Now let's move to the next part. Now that we have activated the different columns, let's assign ourselves to the file. So what we want to achieve, okay, we've already done all of that. Let's move to assigning ourselves. So usually, guys, your manager would already create your setup. They will create your login, your password as well in some cases. But for today, because we want to empower you, show you how this is done, we are going to create our login and assign ourselves to that. And that will be important for the audit component of this Get Ahead series. So to assign yourself first, so I'm going to explain on these slides and then we're going to do it together. To assign yourself to the file, you're going to the Tools tab on your Caseware working paper ribbon. Then locate the users group where you have a padlock named Protection. When you select the drop down next to Protection, you should see that the protection is on. So if it says Protection on, means that you need to turn it on. If it says Protection off, means the protection is already on and you want to turn it off. So now, if it is not on, it will show you, like my screen, turn protection on. You can then select and insert SUP. We're going to do that together. Let me explain to you the full process, then we do it together. Then it will prompt you, are you sure you want to enforce protection? Obviously, you're going to say yes to that step. And once done, once we click on yes, we can then access the protection setup. We can now create our credentials and assign ourselves to the engagement file. Then once you select the protection setup, that's the next window that we will see. We're going to add ourselves, add our name as a user under the users and global groups on the left of that dialog box, and then assign ourselves to a group. So let's do that step together, and then I'm going to explain again how to assign ourselves to a group. So I've just been notified. There's a quick question before I move to protection setup. There's a quick question around the modified column. So that's the last column that you have activated. So remember this system into which we're working, right? We are all collaborating in an engagement file. The modified column will show you the date that a document was last modified. Let's take the example of that fixed asset register that my manager asked me to insert on Document Manager. When I insert the Excel on the Document Manager, the modified column will show the date onto which I've inserted it. I've modified it so that the manager can also control, okay, Somrine is doing her work. She has modified it on XYZ date. Now, in the event the manager opened the Excel, perform a modification like a comment on the Excel, it will show you as a user okay, there has been, the last date was modified was on the 9th of February. That's the modified date. So it's just going to show you when a document was modified. You can compare it to when you open a folder on Windows. So there's a date modified column. It works more or less the same. I hope that I did answer your question, that it's a little bit better on your side. Let us assign ourselves to a file now. So we've got another question. Just give us 1 second. So we've got a very, very nice question. That's the protection. Let's move to protection. If you have the turn protection off, correct. That's the comment from somebody in the room. Does it mean that the protection is on? The answer is yes, 100%. I'm sending to you virtual chocolates. Well done. If it says turn protection on, it means it's not yet turned on. You want to turn it on. But if it's turned off on your side, please, that's 100%, you're all set up. If it's turn it on for some of you, simply click on it, insert SUP. In my case, it's already on, and my protection setup next to the padlock icon is available. It's not grayed out. So I'm just gonna click on the protection setup. I remind you guys, usually this step will be done already by your manager, but remember, we are in a step ahead session. You'll be the managers of tomorrow. You must be able to create groups. You'll be the supervisor, the manager of tomorrow, the senior of tomorrow. So that's why we're going to show you all of that. Okay, cool. Now we create our name under users, right? So I'm going to click on the add button, bottom of that dialog box. It will prompt you a second screen, which is the user properties. Please take a few moments to insert your name. So I'm going to insert Sandrine. My identifier will be your initial, will be my initial, SP. You can later on insert more information, your pre-name, first name, last name, designation. That's an easy part. What we want to do is select the password. Please type in a password that you will, of course, remember. Type in your password. Confirm it. Just going to give you 60 seconds to do that. Then, once you're done with creation of your username and identifier and password, before clicking on OK, I'm going to ask you to select the member of tab on the top of your user property. You've got different types of groups. You've got the AIC, the accountant in charge, the EQCR, the junior, the manager, the practitioner, the semi-senior, and the senior. So these are different groups with different access rights. For today, we are going to get a promotion to the manager role. But please do remember afterwards, you're going to come back after that session and ask also your manager to assist you. You're going to assign you to another group. So for today, I'm going to select two groups on my side. I belong to two groups, the manager, the practitioner, and then press on OK. Once you do that, Okay, I'm just going to select and press on OK. Once you press on OK, on your users and groups dialog box on the left-hand side, you have your name under users list, and the little icon, your little avatar is grayed out, meaning that you have been assigned to a group. And if you should look at the right part of that screen, you should see your name appearing under here, Manager and Practitioner. Once we're happily assigned, you're going to press on OK. Now the game is to change the user. Now I just want to draw your attention. If you should follow my cursor, bottom of my screen, on my Caseware working paper, you currently have SUP. That's the current user logged in. We want to change this. Okay, before I change this again, let me repeat how to assign yourself to a file. I'm going to start from the protection setup. This time, I'm going to use my beautiful slides. Okay, so to assign yourself to a file, you first select protection, that padlock icon, then protection setup. Once you select the protection setup, you'll be presented with the users and group window. You want to create yourself as a user, or if you are going to be promoted as a supervisor, you want to create your team members' login details. So you're going to select the add button to the bottom left of your screen. When you select the add button, you'll be presented with a user properties window. Under the user information tab, you're going to insert, under that one tab, you will insert your name, your initials, and password, and confirm the password. Then there's a second tab on that same window, member of. So you must understand you fall under which group. Are you from a junior group, manager group, practitioner group, senior, semi-senior? So again, this will be done by your champion or your manager. But for today, we're all getting promoted to the manager role. So please do select the manager. You can also select all for this purpose of this session, just to make sure that you get all the accessors, and then press on OK. Once we press on OK, what we want now is change the user, because remember, bottom of my screen, just now I've shown you the current user logged in was SUP. That's the password, the username of Caseware Africa. You don't want to use that supervisor login to continue on a file. So we are going to select change user, and then insert your name that you've created under user property. So I've inserted Sandrine Permal. So I'm going to, my username will be Sandrine Permal, and the password will be the password that I created. And you're going to press on OK. So let's do that together again. Right, I was just looking at a quick question around the name of the users. So quickly going back to protection setup, just showing to you how I set up my name. So I've inserted my username as being Sandrine Permal. So that is what will appear when I sign off the document. You can insert your first name and last name. The question that I've read is, it will not appear, if I don't insert it yet, it will not appear in other documents. I just need to check this out, and then I will definitely come back to you on this question. But usually, recommended best practice, if you've got all of these different space to insert the details, please do go ahead. It doesn't take us much time to insert the name, my first name, Sandrine, my last name, Permal. So mine is grayed out username because I can't change it here because I'm already assigned to some roles. That's why it's grayed out. So if you're trying to change your name, what you need to do, and a member of what you can do is deselect all, press on OK, then go back again to your name, properties. Let me quickly check that out. Press on OK again. Properties. Oh, actually, mine's still grayed out. That's interesting. Yeah, but usually you should be able to change your username once you have done it. Yeah. Okay. So now let me assign myself to the role. Press on OK. Click on Change User because I want to log in with Sandrine. And password, insert your password. Now, bottom of my screen, bottom middle of the screen, you should now see your name appearing, appearing on your screen. And then when we will sign off, there will be your name appearing next to, let's say I sign off as performed by, I'll see Sandrine Permal performed the task. All right, guys, that was a long explanation of the different options, the different items that you have on the application. Now, we still just want to reiterate, we're still in the second part of our engagement cycle, which is the entering of client information. Remember, I said you should have entered on top of the year-end date stuff like the director's details, the director's details, the tax details, addresses, bank details, etc. So we're still in step number 2. We have not yet finished that one, right? So we are going to go now under the information store, in the information store document. Just a quick reminder, your information store document can be found on Caseware working paper. Now, the information store will open from a case view document. That's the paper-like icon with a C on it. That's a case view document. It's a report writer application that allows you to type in information. Now, remember, when you open that case view document, it will open outside Caseware. So that's the difference between those two icons. That icon that you can see now on my screen, that's Caseware working paper icon. The C one is the case view that will pop out from your Caseware working paper. It's just like an Excel. If you copy an Excel onto Caseware working paper and you double click to open it, it will open outside the application. Same for case view, it's going to open outside. Now, in any case view document, all the yellow cells, these are editable cells. It's an indication that you can type in the information. Any white cell means that the information is pulling from somewhere else. if you should follow my cursor under registered name, in a few moments when you open your info store, it will show wrap up limited. So, and if you place your cursor over the registered name, over the white cell, if you hover your cursor on it, it will indicate to you where this is pulling from. So it will tell you it is coming from the engagement properties. Now, the data that you will insert on the information store will feed the engagement file. For example, the country of incorporation and the currency symbol. This is what will feed into your full engagement file, including your financial statements and any other case view documents. So let's feed in the info store before we move to how do we get to financial statements. So how do we locate a document on Document Manager? Now, if you're looking for the information store, there are different ways you can look for a document. You can use the Control F option. This helps you find easily a document that you've saved on the Document Manager. You don't need to turn pages and pages like a physical file. Just Control F, type information store. Click on Find Next. It should jump to your information store. Alternatively, for those of you who want to know where to find it, the information store is always saved under the folder Financial Statements. Click on the folder to open it. In the subfolder Financial Statement Preparation, you should have your information store, document 0120, info store. It's a case view document. Double click the document. And you should notice that it is opening outside Caseware. It is popping out. Your case view document should open. Now, if you should follow my cursor on the top of my screen, you've got the name of your engagement file. It's called Wrap Up Manufacturing Limited, 30th of April 2023, case view. Then you've got the document number and the document name. So if it's 2 a.m. in the morning, you're wondering, okay, what's the document I'm in? You can have a look at the top of your screen. You should see the name of and the name and the document number. You also have the name of the document on the green ribbon. That's much more obvious. You see the information store, and also very important, the version of your file or of your Caseware or templates rather. That's the version 2023-0201. That's the latest version. Important to know that because Caseware actually releases updates of the different templates twice a year. So recommended best practice is to always have the latest version. This can also be useful when you connect with our support team members. They might ask you, what's the version of your IFRS template, for example. This is where you can also find it. Then remember, in a case view document, whatever is in a yellow cell is editable. What is in a white cell means it's pulling the information from somewhere else. For instance, the registered name Wrap Up Manufacturing Limited. If I hover my cursor on it, it says this value pulls from the engagement properties in Caseware. If you see IFRS Limited or Audi International, remember you can't change it from here. You need to go back to Caseware engagement properties and then update it under operating name. That name, registered name, this is what will appear on the face of your financial statements and on any audit relevant document. Now, on the information store and on the financial statements and your audit procedures that will see in the coming week, you have what I call the document map appearing on the left-hand side of your screen. So the document map allows you to jump easily to different sections of the document. So for instance, if I want to jump to director's details, I will simply select director's details. It's just that we don't want you to lose time scrolling up and down and looking for the data. You can simply select it and update if required. I'm going to go back to the general part and start filling up the information here. I'm going to use information from page 4 of your practice set. Use the different information here to complete our info store. Let's start with the company registration number. So that's the registration number that will be provided to you by the clients. You can type in the information, or you can also copy paste. I really like the copy paste part. If you have the information on a Word document somewhere or on an Excel, then you can easily just highlight and paste. So I've got a very interesting question, guys. I'm sure you must be thirsty. You're asking for a little break. Please do allow us 10 more minutes, or less than 10 minutes. We're going to complete the info store. And that was the plan, where we're going to go for a break just after. So let's complete the info store, and then we can jump for the break. Right. So let's move. The nature of the business. Let's say it's a manufacturing company. So I'm going to jump to nature of business. Country of incorporation, I'm going to leave it to South Africa. Currency, I'm going to also leave it to Rand and currency symbol as well. However, let's say for my Mauritian peers out there, you can select the Mauritius country of incorporation. You can press on the drop down, press on your keyboard, and then look for Mauritius. What will happen when you select the country of incorporation, it will execute a script and pull through automatically your currency unit and your currency symbol. Once it's full, what happened is it has optimized your engagement file to show country of incorporation Mauritius. The relevant document for Mauritius will appear on the financial statement. However, you can still change the currency unit. For example, let's say we want to report in US dollar. In type US dollar, the currency symbol is also going to appear like a dollar sign, but remember, if it is a yellow cell, means that you can edit the symbol. So for instance, my client wants to disclose USD. So I can type in USD here. There will be a red dot appearing, indicating to my manager that I've changed an automatic calculation. So if you right click over that cell with a red dot, it shows what was the overridden calculation. The local legislative act is going to pull based on your country of incorporation. So let's now move to the to the trading name. That's the trading name of Rapid Manufacturing Limited. The address, we want to copy our client's address. You can use your document map to jump to the address and paste in the information. Remember, all the information that you're inserting in here will pull to your different reports, mainly to the financial statement one. Then we've got the date of incorporation. So if you jump to dates, your financial year end is also pulling from the engagement properties. Please feed in your date of incorporation and date of certificate to commence business as well. I know that we are all eager for a break, but there's an important concept that we need to discuss. That's the date of signature of audit report. That is extremely important. Even if you don't have a final date, recommended best practice is to insert and talk to your manager and insert that date of signature of audit report. Why is it important? Let me quickly choose 31st of July 2023. It is crucial to have this date inserted so that our direct detail pull on the financial statements. That's a common case that we have, a common scenario where you've got our users asking, hey, Sandrine, I'm on year 2 of my engagement file. I don't see my director's details. This is because the date of signature of the audit report was not inserted. So what I want to tell you, on year 2, once you've done, you've closed the file for 2023, you're moving to 2024, what you need to do is come again to the info store. You don't need to fill up everything again. You just need to make sure that you insert an approximate date for the date of signature of your audit reports. Now, let's move to the director's details now. So you can also copy the details that I've shared with you. So once you start inserting your director's detail, in blue to the right of your screen, it's showing to you that the director will show on the general info page in director's report. Let's also insert the date of appointment. You can simply type in if you want instead of using the calendar icon, but if you feel that the calendar icon is better for you, so please feel free to use it. I'm also going to insert the second director detail. And guys, once again, this blue notification on the right of this director detail section is pulling because we have that date of signature of audit report inserted. If you can't see those blue stuff appearing, means that your date of signature of audit report has not been inserted. The last one, Mr. Duke of Hastings. I'm sure some of you are smiling. You know from which series this name is pulling from. So this particular director has resigned during the financial period. So it's 30th of September 2022. In that particular case, the director will only show on the director's report, but not on the general info page, that first page that you have onto your financial statements. Going to give you one more minute to complete that in, and then we can go through a quick poll and go for a break. So once you're filling up your information store, we're going to launch a quick poll and we're really looking forward to your different answers. So please continue to fill in your information store, and if you are done, please do fill in the poll. So what we want to know with the poll is really, are you alone in the room? Are you 10 or more? Or are you 20 in the room listening to us? Or are you 20 in the room, but everyone on her own laptop logging onto that webinar? We really look forward to your answers. It's looking nice. We're 30% of us voting, 40%. We encourage you to vote. We want to know, are you alone in a room, alone on your laptop, or several in a room listening to us? %45 of us have voted. We're going to leave it 1 more minute open, and we can all grab that good cup of coffee. So we're going to, we still have 50 minutes to run the poll. We will then have a 10 minutes break, and we really look forward to continue that Get Ahead series with you. But for now, please do vote for us. Wow, I can see there's one answer. We're more than 20 people in a room. Wow, how exciting. All right, so we've got 60% of us who voted. So we're going to close the vote now. Thank you for all your participation. There will be surprises for those participating, so we really encourage you to participate to our polls, to our different questions. So guys, thank you for participating. Let's go for a break now for 10 minutes, and we're going to continue with the session in 10 minutes sharp. Thank you. 5 minutes to go. The next part of the session is really about what's the end result that we want to produce. How to import the trial balance, how do you, very high level, perform the mapping and do the different options, use the different options on Caseware. I think we have to start now. So welcome back, everybody. So before we go into the import of the trial balance, let's go through how do we get to the financial statements. And one thing, I was about to forget that. So we've got several questions around the CPD certificate, and also we've seen from the poll that some of you are connected in a room of on one computer, but you're in a room of 10 people. Please kindly make sure, even if you're connected on one laptop and projecting, that you also connect on your individual laptop so that we can get your name and proof that you were in attendance. This is going to make sure that you'll get your CPD certificates. So I repeat, if you're in a group of 10 people, for instance, and connecting on only one laptop, please make sure that each and every one of you is connected on his or her individual laptop so that we can get proof that you were here. We can get your name for your certificates. I'm sure we're all looking forward for the CPD certificates. Secondly, we've got the Audit International session starting this Friday. We've shared with you a file, an audit engagement for Friday. So please rest assured we're going to cover this engagement on Friday. For today and tomorrow, please use this wrap-up engagement for financial statements. The aim is, for the first day, we want to introduce you to the technology. We want to show you where to click on Document Manager, on Caseware Working Paper Ribbon, what is a case view, what is a Caseware automatic document, what is mapping, what is trial balance. All of this is an introduction to Caseware Working Paper. We use the financial statement template to introduce all of that to you. In the audit session, it's going to be another level, a little bit more complex, just a bit, where we will no more focus on document manager, this is a folder, etc. We're going to assume and expect that now you know how to fetch, how to go to information store, for example, how to open a folder, how to jump to journal entries. So really this session is an introduction to technology. Okay. I'm just quickly going to present again my screen. Right. So before we go and import the trial balance, we really wanted to help you if you are you've recently joined your firm. We want to explain to you how do we get to that set of financial statements. So the first step is the source documents. Okay, guys, just want to really make sure that you understand this. As an auditor, as the accountant in your practice, we intervene, we step in at the trial balance level for the client. Now, the purpose of this session is to prepare the financial statements. And that's what we are going to do in Caseware. But before we do that, let's understand how the clients got to that trial balance, because I think this is crucial for us to understand. The client on their side started with the source document. The source document is that original document that contains the details of a business transaction. For instance, you've purchased an item, your client has purchased an item. They will then receive the item and the invoice and use that invoice to record the purchase on their system. So that's a typical example of a source document, a tax invoice. You can have other source documents, for example, your lease agreements, an amortization schedule that will be used for processing on the accounting package of the client. So how do we get to the financial statement? Remember, we as the members or as the employees of a practice set, we intervene from the trial balance level. However, we want to know where did we get that trial balance. It all starts with the source document, whereby an action is taken. We purchase something, for example, we get the source document. And from that source document, the client will then process the information onto the accounting software. So that's an example of, that's a screenshot of the posting action of the client. So the client will then input the transaction on their accounting software. That's just an example of a screen, of an input screen that they might use to process the transaction. They will then select the supplier from which they've purchased their item. They will then insert some more information, the invoice number, then process what type of transaction, the amount that they've purchased. The input transaction will then feed in automatically to the general ledger. That is, in this example, whereby we have consultancy fee from AB Limited, we were invoiced. So the client, not we, but the client will then process a debit consulting fees going to proceed, going to a P&L, statement of profit and loss, and other comprehensive income, or P&L for short, with the amount, debit the VAT control account, going to the balance sheet, statement of financial position, and credit the creditors. This is also going to the statement of financial position, balance sheet. So these are the details that are pooling to the general ledger. So when you talk about general ledger, it's the listing of all the transactions pooling to the to the general ledger. So again, I recap. There's an action taken. The client purchased a product. They get a source document like that consultancy fee. They then process the details of that fee that feeds into the general ledger, which is the lists, the detailed lists of all the processing done. Now, the step number 3, that general ledger, which is the list of the balancers, should then tie back to the respective trial balance line. So here, for instance, that GL detail ledger listing, it can be also sometimes downloaded from an Excel, will list all the possible transactions processed on a daily basis by the client, and this ultimately feeds to the trial balance. Now, we're going to go back. That GL now feeds into trial balance, which is then the summary of all the GL per account. So for instance, let's say the accounts payable for $12,780. This is the summarization of all the transactions processed under accounts payable by the client. And this is the whole process that we've seen so far. They get an invoice or they get a supporting document, then they process, then it feeds to the general ledger, which then summarizes into a trial balance. Now, this is again where we step in. That's the result. That's what we see as auditors, as employees of our audit firm. And from this trial balance, this is where we intervene. We then can pull to the preparation. We can then prepare the financial statement based on that trial balance. Now, the financial statements will then be presented depending on the template that you're using. You have your statement of financial position, that's the balance sheet, your split C, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, also known as P&L, your SOCI, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, all of that's going to pull based on that trial balance that we've obtained. So the output. So we're doing all that work. We're taking that trial balance from the client. We're importing it in Caseware, and that will be the output. And the output is that set of financial statements. Quickly going to select here and show you that's what we're aiming to have. We imported the trial balance, we've obtained the trial balance, imported into Caseware, we've done the mapping, and the end result, we're working towards having a balance sheet, our SPLOC, our SOCI, statement of changes in equity, our cash flows, and all the related documentation, accounting policies, your standards, your notes to the financial statements, everything fully. So that's the objective, ultimate objective. That's what we want to see by end of this session, not for today, but for tomorrow. Now, going back to our engagement life cycle, now that you've seen what we are up to, that's where we are going to that financial statement. That's the goal of this first 2-day Get Ahead series. The next step in the engagement cycle is to import the trial balance. And usually you'll get the trial balance from the client in an Excel document. So you can easily import that onto Caseware. So some recommended best practice before you import your trial balance on Caseware. First of all, recommended to save the Excel onto your computer, open the Excel trial balance, and make sure that you check that the trial balance balances. So your debit column minus your credit column should give a 0. If it is merged, like here in this example, if you should follow my pointer, that column K, debit and credit is merged here. So the summation of that column should be 0. The next recommended best practice is to ensure that the account numbers are unique, that there's no duplicated account number. The reason is any duplicated account number will be omitted and the trial balance in Caseware will then not balance. In some cases, I hear that the clients will give you a trial balance without the account number. Then you'll, in that case, create the different account numbers, use a convention, ask your supervisor or manager, how do they usually proceed with that? Now, I thought that it will be interesting to show you how easily you can check for unique account numbers on Excel. So to easily check that, we're not going to scroll through. If you've got 100 rows in the Excel, it's going to be daunting to do that manually. You can use the options on Excel to do that check. Step number 1 would be to highlight the column where you have the account numbers. Then step number 2 is go to the Home tab on your Excel spreadsheet and then go to the conditional formatting section, highlight cell values, duplicate values. Any duplicated value, and then you can press on OK. Any duplicated value will then be highlighted in red, and you can make sure to make them unique. You can either ask the client to give you that unique account number, or you can modify the account number, add an additional, let's say, an alphanumeric item after that account number. Just make sure to make it unique. So let's do that exercise together. Let's open our Excel, and I'm going to repeat again and show you how to check that the TB is balancing, the recommended best practices, how also to check for unique account numbers. Oh, by the way, if you still have your information store open, you can save, use the Control S onto your keyboard, or use the save button. And then you can close. Top right of your screen, there's a cross button. You can close your Case View information store. Now, going into your folder that we have shared with you, there's the trial balance in an Excel document. Please double click to open the Excel. In this particular area, we have the account number, the account details. I have also inserted the mapping number. Again, today is just a quick introduction to mapping. Usually the mapping will be done by a more senior person into your practice. So I've already inserted it for us. You've got the current year, the prior year too. So remember the recommended best practice. Let's ensure that our TB is balancing. So I'm going to do the summation for column B for my current year, for my prior year too. Guys, in this scenario, the client has given us the trial balance for 2 prior period and the current period. It's the first time we're preparing an engagement, a financial statement for that particular client. That's why we've got all those trial balances pooling. So we're done with that. I'm going to delete that because I've checked that it is balancing. The next step is to make sure that this account number column has only unique account numbers. So first of all, I'm going to highlight the column A. Then under my Home tab, go to Styles Group, Conditional Formatting. The first option is Highlight Sales Rules, Duplicate Values. Accept the default format for any cells that contain duplicate values and press on OK. Duplicated cell will then appear in red with a dark red font. So if, for instance, you don't need to do that on your side. If, let's say, 9500 or 000 was duplicated, it would have appeared in red like this. It's easy for you then to see what's duplicated. And if there is any duplication, I could add, for example, an A just after it, make it unique. Now that we've passed the test that it is balancing, my TB is balancing, the account numbers are unique, let's now move on to the import of that trial balance on your Caseware working paper. So to import on Caseware, I'm gonna minimize that to Caseware. To import your trial balance on Caseware, you will go to the engagement tab, and then under the data group, select the import button. You've got different options available to you, but we want to import our trial balance from an Excel file. So I'm going to select Excel file. You will open the Excel file import wizard. The wizard will help you to import your Excel file. The first item that you see on the wizard will be the components to import. It will be chart of account and GL balances. There's no need for you to change that. Please keep it as is. The Excel file to import, you'll then browse to the location where you've saved that Excel. So I'm going to click on Browse, select my folder, Session 1, and that trial balance that we have shared with you, and press on Open. The worksheet that you need to select, that will be the worksheet on your Excel. In this example, in that trial balance, the TB is on the first worksheet. So it makes sense for us to say select the first worksheet. If it was on the third one, then I would have selected number 3. Just giving you guys a few seconds. If you're busy browsing to the location of your Excel, your screen, your import wizard screen should look like mine. Your Excel has been selected and the worksheet is one. So if we're successful with that first step, let's move to the next step. So you're going to click on the next button, bottom of your screen. On the next screen, you just exclude any row that does not have an account number. So if you should follow my cursor, that first row, which is account number, account detail, the titles of my columns, it doesn't have an account number. So I'm going to delete. So if your client gives you a trial balance with titles on the top, with summation bottom of the screen, please make sure that you select those to remove from your imports. We're only interested in the trial balance. That is the lines having an account number, an account name, and the values. You could also use the options on the top, the exclude first, exclude last. So for instance, if I say exclude first row, Caseware will remember that going forward for wrap-up manufacturing, it needs to always exclude the first row when we import. So we are going to create, we're going to ask him to remember the steps that we're doing so that in the event wrap-up manufacturing gives us a second version, a third version of that trial balance, I can easily import without spending too much time on the import process. Okay. In our case, there's only one row which should be excluded, which is the first one. And if I scroll down, there's nothing bottom of the screen to exclude. Let's proceed on the next screen. The next screen is extremely important because you now need to specify your fields or your column details or the titles of all the different columns from the Excel trial balance. The first column relates to our account number. So how do you pull the name of the column where it says ignore? Click on the ignore. You can do like a left click or right click. It's going to pull the same options. Click on the ignore. Select the first one, account details. This is where you find your account number. You have other options depending on what is that first column from your client. You will then select the appropriate column heading. For that first one, that's account number. When you select account number, it will then pull on the title as a title of your column. There's nothing for you to do bottom of your screen. If you're wondering what to do here, please ignore for now the instructions, these options below on your screen. Let's move to the second column. The second column relates to your account details, account description. That's the description of our different account numbers. I just want to make sure that we are aligned on these guys. Usually that step would have already been done by a more senior person in your firm, by your senior, for instance, and they will simply give you the file to start doing the like let's say, for example, the editing of the financial statements or the audit procedures and etc. As we are in the getting ahead, we want to make sure that you understand the job that was done. How did they get that TB into Caseware? That's the part of this particular session, and it's how they've done. Okay. The third column. So usually you don't have these in the trial balance from the client, but for the purpose of this webinar, we've already done the mapping for you. All you need to do is select the mapping heading. So this will be, if you click on the ignore, you go to grouping mapping number. So for the third column, this is the mapping number that we have already inserted, because we're time bound, we will not be able to spend all the time doing the mapping together. And this is also a task that will be done by your seniors. Please select the first option, which is mapping number. I reiterate for those of you wondering where to find this, we're on the third column on our Excel file import wizard. Select the ignore for the third column, grouping option, mapping number, the first to the left of your screen. Then you can scroll down bottom of your screen to pull the difference, to see the last three columns. So the first column with the figures, this relate to current year, final month TB. So I'm going to click on the ignore. This is a balances column, and we've got our current year balance. We're going to select the period 12 because the client did not provide us with the monthly TBs. They only provided us with the TB for the year. So I'm going to select period 12. That's the last month. And bottom of your screen, you've got three options. You've got a field information area where you've got debit and credit field radio button automatically selected. It says total 0. That's a check that the TB that you're importing is going to balance based on the figures here. It's not based on the possibility that that account number is duplicated. It's based on figures for this column. Debit and credit, debit less credit is equal to 0. In the event this is not equal to 0, recommended best practice is to cancel that process. Go back to the Excel, check out what's wrong in here. Maybe there's a hidden row you did not remove, for example, a subtotal is picking it up. Make sure to clean it. Check again that the summation is a 0. Save the document and start over again the import process. Let's move to the second one. This relates to your balances last year, prior year 1 balance period 12. Prior year 1 period 12. Again, debit less credit field, the total is 0. So last year TB is balancing that 100%. We can now move to the last one. So I'm going to give you a few moments to try it on your side. What would you select as a column heading for the last one? Anyone wants to reply on that? Just give us the title. What are you selecting for the last one? Yes, Ashley. It's gonna be prior year 2, 100% virgin chocolate for you. So it's gonna be prior year 2 balance and period 12. Well done, Tadiwe. Thank you for that as well. So I see, thank you as well, Indiuyo. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. So yes, 100% Ashley. Yes, thank you as well, Kamlan and Sam. So we've got a question. What's the difference between opening balance period 1 and the rest? So usually your opening balance will be, let's say if I go to current year opening balance, this will be for the balance from last year, your prior year balance. Is the closing of prior year 1 of last year. That will be the opening for balance sheet items only. Now, your period 1, on the other hand, will be the movement, the P&L items, and also your balance sheet. Usually, what will happen, the clients might give you only one TB, like this example, and like a TB for period 1. So period 1 will be the month of May 2022, a full TB with balance sheet stuff and P&L stuff. So it's gonna be your period 1. On the other hand, if they give you like only movements TB, like the open balances, which will only contain a TB with balance sheet items, that's the expectation, then you use the opening balance. Hope I did answer your questions. I'm seeing that you've got several super good answers, guys. Thank you for your participation, 100%. For the last column, it is going to be balances prior to period 12. I just want to highlight your intention. If you're importing, like in our case study, several child balances at one go, if by mistake you forget which one column you're choosing, if I go back to prior year 1, for instance, the period 12 is grayed out because it's already selected. So that's a common support case scenario. Usually the user will like, hey, my period 12 is grayed out. This will mean that it has already been selected somewhere. Okay. So let me select prior year 2, period 12. I'm really proud of all the answers that we're getting out there. Really, thank you so much. Let's move to the next part. Once you're done, to the advanced specifications. I'm going to focus on the very important parts here that is going to be relevant for us for this whole series. The first item, which is extremely important, is that clear balances of periods being imported. What does that mean? In several cases and in several scenarios, your client might give you different versions of your trial balances. Like wrap up, finance manager gave us a first TB that we're about to import. We will in a few moments say import next, finish. However, the finance manager can say, hey, Sunheen, actually, it's the wrong TB that we've provided you. Consider this version. In this case, you will still need to import that TB in Caseware. Proceed with the steps that we've done so far. Then, on the advanced specification, you need to make sure that you clear the balances of periods being imported, meaning you're asking the technology to remove any child balances that was previously imported, replace it with the new one that we are importing. It's very important to remember to do that, or else your figures are going to double if it is the second time that you're importing, or triple if it is the third, and you know the story. So recommended best practice, I usually like to select the clear balances, even if it's the first time I'm importing, just for me to get used to that idea. Okay, if there is anything into my working TB, it's going to clear it for me. I'm going to have a clean TB, the one that is balancing. Then the next important item is the regional settings. The Excel file input wizard will use the regional settings from your computer. So if, for instance, my decimal place is a dot and my digit grouping is a comma, in my regional setting, my computer setting, this is what will be used by the Excel file input. Now, if your Excel has now a space for the digit group symbol, and for the decimal symbol, it's going to be a comma, then you can deselect and change this. This is usually a step that you will perform in the event you see that the TB is not balancing or not making, the figures are not making sense in your working trial balance. That's the next troubleshooting. But we'll go through the troubleshooting in case the TB doesn't balance in Caseware. Now let's move to the next step. So I see a question from Brayton. For clarification, when we click the clear balances of periods being imported, are you restarting the whole trial balance? So you are, I'm not sure if I understand your definition of restarting, but yes, you're removing whatever TB that you have imported previously and replacing it with a new TB. Obviously, the technology will allow you to track it, to track the changes, but this is another conversation that we're going to have in our audit sessions. Thank you for your question. Let's now move to the next screen. On the next screen, you've got the account summary, which show you all the new accounts being added into your engagement file or modified if it is the second time you're importing. This is the first time we're importing the TB of wrap-up manufacturing. So you've got 126 new accounts. Let's move to the next screen. On the next screen, we are going to complete the Excel import wizard. You can, if you want, record all the steps that we've done so far. You can record that by, for example, typing in the name. I'm just going to insert one, wrap-up manufacturing. It's an abbreviation. So this record of the layouts will be saved in the folder where your Excel is saved. It's not mandatory. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. The only thing is you'll need to manually redo all the steps. By recording, you save time. In the event wrap-up manufacturing send another TB to you, you can easily just say next, next, next. Using the record layout, it will simply let you go faster in the import. We're ready to click on the import button. The process is now completed. Let's press on OK to continue. You've got a change in chart of account dialog box that will appear. It's again tracking who's doing what. So the current user is Sandrine logged in. It will give you the source of the file. What is the file that you've imported? It's from an Excel and the period is being imported. Press on OK to close the window. Now, before we go and check that the TB is balancing in Caseware, let's go and do that. We can launch our working trial balance. That's the trial balance within your working paper. So if you click on trial balance, so you can do Control W, it is going to show you the TB that you have imported. The first column, you've got your account number, you've got your account name. We've cheated for this session. We've already inserted the mapping number. And if you scroll to the right, you should get your transactions, adjustments, and your different columns, your current year, your prior year, and your prior year too. Okay. The recommended best practice, once you have imported the working TB, is to look at the last row on that working TB. Make sure that it's 0. It means that the TB is balancing. So I see some questions spooling. For instance, how do I bring back my document manager? Simply press on documents. It should show you your document manager. A question from Jason had, yes, 100%. The recorded layouts can be used, but not for a different, for a different version of a TB for wrap-up. And Ashley, your name section is blank. It would be because possibly you did not select account details, the name of the account detail. Let me quickly do that again with you. So if you could re-import the Excel, so you go to Engagement tab, Data Group, Import Excel File, browse if you want to your trial balance. On my side, recorded layout will pull through. Then go to next. Make sure that you select the first row if not already done. Next, and then on the field details, ensure that you have selected account number, account description as well. If any one of you doesn't have the columns pooling properly, it's not showing, you can't see prior year, you can't see the accounts, etc., you can try to re-import with us. Well, re-importing it again. So what you simply do, go to Engagement tab on your Caseware working paper ribbon, select the Import Excel, then start all over again. Select your Excel, the first worksheet. Let me give you 30 seconds just to have you opening the import wizard, selecting your Excel. Then next. If you've recorded the layout, that is going to help you go faster. Make sure the first row is selected to be excluded from the import. Go to next. Then look at my screen. I'm going to leave that for 2 more minutes. Make sure that you have selected account number that is the same as here, that you've got your account description pooling, the mapping number through grouping mapping number. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes for that. 1 more minute if you are busy selecting your different items. Then scroll to the right, make sure that you've selected the periods. Now, the first column with figures relate to your balances for the current year. That's the current year 2023 trial balance. So I'm selecting current year, period 12. My second column relates to last year. That's the prior year one. It's last column. It's balances. Prior year one, same drill, period 12. That's the last month TB. It's the TB for the year. For last year, prior year one balance, period 12. Then the last column relates to the balances for prior year two. I don't know if you've got another word for prior year two. In French, we do. But in English, let's say prior year two, period 12. And by the way, guys, I usually speak mainly French. So yes, if I'm not clear, please do shout out. I'm happy to repeat. So period 12 selected. Giving you guys 30 seconds to just check out if it's not successful on your working TB, re-import, make sure that your field details is the same as it is on my screen. Alrighty, then we move to the next one. And remember, it's the second time I'm importing that TB. I'm going to make sure that this clear balances of periods being imported is selected. It's automatically selected on my side because I recorded the import process. Then press on next. This time, there will be no new accounts added because we're bringing the same TB. If there were a new account being imported, then you'll do the necessary step to investigate further this new account, map it if required. Go to next. I'm not going to record again. You can remove it if you're happy with what was recorded before. If you had errors, just make sure maybe you save the new recorded layout. Just press on import just afterwards. Press on OK and OK. So you can, again, recommended best practice, check out that your last row has a 0 throughout, that your prior year is pooling nicely for those of you who didn't have any prior year period, figures pooling, then yeah. If you have by error hidden a column, to reorder or to bring back the column, you can right click on any column headings and then select reorder column. If you can't see the name, for instance, if it's under the hidden column, you can then bring it back. So I repeat, for those of you who maybe by error you've hidden a name column, just right click over any headings on your working TB, select reorder, go to your name, select the name and pull it to the active columns right now. Now that we've checked that the that the TB is nicely imported, we want to, let me go to the right slides. You should have selected it. We want to make sure that you are confident in the event your TB is not balancing. So always go to first the Excel. Maybe the TB on the Excel was not balancing. The troubleshooting is to check for the duplicated account numbers. Alternatively, it can be also a problem with the original settings. Or your rounding was applied in Excel, so your working TB might be out by cents. You've got this handout printed in PDF, so please do keep it handy. That's the troubleshooting if in the event the TB on Caseware is not balancing. Now we're moving to the next step in the engagement cycle, which is the mapping of the trial balance. So we're going to introduce to you what's the mapping to the TB. Usually it's a more senior role that who will be doing that mapping task, but I'll show you, introduce to you how do you do that. So to access the mapping window, we are going to go to the account tab on your Caseware working paper ribbon, and then select assign mappings. That should open your mapping window. And the mapping window is made up of two parts. You've got the unmapped accounts on the left-hand side of your screen. So if, for example, your supervisor did not map it and you are requested to map it, then the whole TB of the client will appear on the left-hand side of the screen. The aim will be to take whatever is on the left of the screen to the right of the screen. So for example, that rent line item, we want to map it to profit or loss to expense line. So what we need to do is then locate our P&L mapping, then select and open the different mapping numbers and locate the longest mapping number, which is in a black font, and then your mapping number will appear. Sorry, your capability to map will then be activated. That map button in the middle will activate. If you place your cursor on a gray mapping name, it will not allow you to do the mapping. It is unassignable. The map button will not work. The purpose of the mapping is to build the financial statements. It is to generate your lead sheets. It is to generate your different working papers, your audit procedures, and different documents. And that's a very, very good question from Zubair. What's the purpose of mapping? I really appreciate that. This is crucial for the next steps within your engagement file in Caseware. This is what will help to show the different line items onto your balance sheet, onto your P&L, onto your cash flow, under your statement of changes and other notes item. Let me show you a live example of the mapping. You're not expected to do that, but I will demonstrate to you how this is done on Caseware for one line item, and then we can move to completing the engagement working paper. Okay, so I'm going to open. Before I open, I just want to do a quick modification here. You're not expected to do that. I reiterate because I want to show you that because I can see some very interesting questions, how to do it, etc. Please do follow on my screen. We're still under the mapping. So scenario, we are assuming that your manager or your supervisor has requested you to map the trial balance that you have imported. To do that, we're going to the account on Caseware working paper ribbon, assign mappings, and then start the mapping. Usually, your mapping screen is going to look like that. On the top of your side and mapped accounts, on the right, the mapping numbers. We can slightly modify this. We can show the different balances and the mapping that can help us perform the mapping. So to do that, you'd simply right-click over the right-hand side of your screen. I'd like to show the mapping number because remember, the black mapping numbers you can map, the gray ones you cannot. So that will be really interesting to see the mapping number. Then you want to see the balances and prior year balance. In the event you are involved in mapping, you might want to make sure that the bank charge for last year was 211,000. I'm mapping it to income statement bank charge. I tick it off on the sign FS. But again, I'm not going to go into detail of how to do that because this was not the purpose of this particular session. So I want to map bank charge. The principle is making sure that I know, should it go to balance sheet or income statement? Then I start to expand the different mapping numbers. So this bank charge needs to go to income statement, expenses. It is going to expenses, general. Please note that general line is grayed out. It has also a small mapping number, 256500. And this is unassignable, that is, you cannot map. The map button is not yet activated. So I need to expand it, locate, if that one was easy, locate the bank charge, and then my map button is going to appear. It's going to be activated, meaning that I can start mapping. I could also use the search name bar if I want to search for the name of a mapping number, if that can help you go faster. Okay. So just that you can drag and drop, or you can click on the map button and your bank chart is going to appear here. Recommended best practice, that's what your seniors will do. They will always click on apply so that the mapping is saved for the different account numbers. Then the next step is to map that motor vehicles. I reiterate, you don't, guys, you're not doing this with me in this session. You're just following through because I'm showing to you how the managers or supervisors are going to do. Now, motor vehicles, we need to decide, is it going to cost? Is it going to balance sheet or income statement? It needs to go to balance sheet, to assets, non-current assets, property, plant and equipment, property, plant and equipment cost. So long it is gray, I still need to dig further down up until I get the long mapping number in a black font. So this motor vehicle cost needs to go to motor vehicles, and I'm going to map it here. Opening balance own, a long black mapping number, my map button activated, click on apply, and this is how the mapping is done. That's a very high level overview. The expectation is your juniors, you will not be doing mapping at this stage, at least not yet. Once the mapping is done, we're going to press on OK. And what will happen, your different line items on the financial statement will start to. So that's the purpose of the mapping. And already, if you should follow my cursor button, right of the screen, you have the net profit or loss for the period. This was obtained based on the mappings. And you can check it and validate it with the document shared by your client. That was a real brief overview of, sorry, of the mapping structure, but we will definitely go again through mapping as we progress in our different audit sections. Now, let's move to the next part in our engagement cycle, which is completing the engagement working papers. In that step number 5, you can create or copy Excel, Word, PDF onto your document manager. I've given you an example earlier that you could, let's say, for example, create an Excel for fixed asset register. So how you do that, you simply right-click over any document or any folder on your document manager, select New, select the New option, and then select any document type you want to create. So for instance, here we wanted to create an Excel document, and this will give us here the option to add a document number, a name, and then you can press on OK. Now, you can also, if the client has given you a document, you can copy and paste it onto your document manager. That's the second solution. So what we have done in the exercise, in the practice set, we're going to check the practice set in the next step, what we must be doing. Sorry about that. Let me quickly close that Word document and reopen it. All right, so the next step that we want to perform is we want to add the bank statement that was provided by our client to the cash and cash equivalent section, the section 420. So let's start by doing that, and let's go back to document manager. So if you want to close the working trial balance, you can click on the close button, the little red next to the tab, or you can press on escape on your keyboard. Alternatively, you can also select documents to quickly jump to the document manager. So now what we want to do, what we want to achieve is to copy our PDF documents. That was already shared with you. We want to copy that PDF document. I'm going to copy the 3 of them one go. You can do it one by one, or you can highlight all of the 3. And we want to paste it to I went in auto mode. We want to copy it on Document Manager under the relevant section for cash and cash equivalent. So let's expand Engagement Working Papers. Then you've got a folder called Leadsheets and Papers. Remember, we've got automatic documents pooling based on the mapping. We're looking to the current assets folder, the document 400, then locate the cash and cash equivalent section. Now the game is, our client has provided us with the bank statement. You can either copy the bank statement, like Control-C, copy, and then paste it wherever you want. Control-V on Document Manager. Alternatively, you can also, if you want, drag and drop one by one or all the documents directly on the Document Manager. The condition is that you have already saved the document somewhere onto your laptop. Giving you a few more seconds to to copy those PDF documents onto your document manager. Now, okay, let me give you a few more seconds. Now, if my area you've inserted a document, like on my side, I've inserted for 2012, what I can do is remove it. You can press on delete on your keyboard or right click and select the delete option. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete? You can then press on yes. So we've got our PDF document inserted now on our document manager as the supporting document for our cash equivalents. Now let's move to, sorry. Now let's move to the next part. Once you've inserted your bank statements, you'll notice there's a document 420, which is an automatic document. So that's what we call the lead sheet. So the lead sheet is automated by Caseware to assist you in completing the engagements. It is, we like to call it like a zoom in of a particular section of the TB. Like it's a zoom in of your cash and cash equivalents. So if you double click to open your cash and cash equivalents lead sheet, the document 420, it will open within Caseware. That's the lead sheet. On the top left of your screen, you've got the client name, the year end, and the name of your lead sheet. Then top right, you've got your lead sheet reference number, which is 420. Then in the body of your lead sheet for cash and cash equivalent and any other, you will have the account number that is pulling from the trial balance. All the work that has been put into the mapping will transpire or translate into your lead sheet. So we've mapped petty cash, current account, net bank call account, current account, loan account to cash and cash. In the mapping window, it will appear here. Same for that motor vehicles that we have mapped earlier that I've showed you. This is going to appear in the lead sheet of property, plant, and equipment. Then in the lead sheet, you also have the current year balance, again, pulling from the trial balance that we have imported. You've got an adjustment column, a journal adjustment column, a TB balance for current year. This is your current year plus or minus your journal adjustment column. You will get the final. You also have, if you have imported last year TB, the prior year balance is also going to pull onto your lead sheet. Now, let's move to passing the journal entry. As part of completing the engagement properties, we've done the import of we've done the copy of the bank statements onto Document Manager. Now we're moving to the processing of the passing of journal entries if required. When would you use that option? Usually, you're not going to do the processing. That is done at the client level. The journal entry would mainly be used in the event your manager raised an issue. It can be anything. Maybe the client did not process something which is found on the bank statement. Then you want to process it. You need to process it. It might be a misstatement, but I really want to keep that misstatement discussion for Friday, but then, yeah, it is what it is. Then your manager is going to raise an issue to you. Hey, Sandrine, there is a line item that was not processed, I can't see on the TB. Please make sure to process it, and we're going to discuss further with the client. Now, the manager raised the issue. You, as the user, you're going to view the issues raised and then complete that issue with reference to your work. Your manager will then, or your senior, will then review your work, and if they are happy or if she is happy, she will then mark it as complete and cleared. So how do you access the issue raised? If you are on your lead sheet of cash and cash equivalent, you can press on the issues shortcut tab on the top of your screen, and then it will pull a sub-window, bottom of your screen, the issues listing. It will give you the subject of the issue, the type of the issue, and to whom it was assigned to. You can even see your name here if it was assigned to you. Okay, now you can also access the issues that was raised by your managers. If you are on the document manager, you can see the issue icon next to the document. You can double click to open and read through what's the issue, what does the manager want us to do. Double click to see that. Alternatively, to the right of your screen, you also have the issues, that is the issue icon that will appear. The outstanding issue, you can double click on it and view your issue comments. Now, what's the difference between the two? The one which appears on the left is the issue that has been assigned to you as the user. There's your little avatar next to it. And the one on the right will be all the outstanding issues in your file. So if you don't see it on the right, usually it might be because it wasn't assigned to you, but please do check out in the comment, it says someone should complete that work. Now, you can also, if you prefer, right-click on a document like 420, then access to properties option and view the issues. So different ways to access issues and then resolve the issues. To launch the issue, you will then either select edit and it should open your issue details. Now we're going to assume that the issue was raised by our manager. We now need to create a journal entry. So to create the journal entry, you can press on Ctrl+J on your keyboard or select the adjusting journal entries. We're going to process a journal entry to resolve an issue that was raised for us. So when you click on new journal entry, when you want to create a new journal entry to capture whatever you need, whatever your reviewer has asked you, this is the screen that you will see within Caseware Working Paper. The first step is to click on New. This is to create a new journal entry. You can select the type of journal entry that you need to process. We've got different types of journal entry, and each journal entry type has a purpose. For instance, normal journal entry will be the journal entry that changes the client's TB as well as the financial statements. So usually the clients are requested to update the accounting software with a journal entry. For example, if we see a line item on the bank statement that was not processed, we are going to ask the client to update the accounting system with this journal. Now, the trial balance in Caseware will, if you decide to do it in Caseware, it's only the TB in Caseware that will be impacted. So that's why I'll show you in a few moments how to assess the journal entry in Caseware, how you can share the details of that journal entry to your client so that they can process in their system. The next type of journal entry is a reclassifying journal entry. This one will not change the client's trial balance, but will affect the financial statement. An example is reclassification of non-current or current loans or debtors with credit balances. Then this is just going to be like cosmetic onto your financial statement. It's going to change. The unrecorded journal entries, we will dive onto that option on Friday or next week. These do not affect the trial balance or financial statements. This is typically used to document journals of unders or overs. These are suggestions in respect of errors detected as part of your audit procedures. So we will do that in detail on Friday. The eliminating journal entries are used for consolidation and will affect the consolidated financial statements. The tax one is not applicable to our jurisdiction. The prior period is just like the normal adjusting, that is, it will update the TB and the FS, but for prior period. An example, when do you use that, is when you're making an adjustment to financial assets for prior periods. Okay. So that was an explanation of the journal entries. Now, the important part of this journal entry window is to describe the journal entries in as much details as possible. This is crucial because you've got reviewers, you want your reviewers to be able to understand your processing. It is also useful when you're printing your journal entries to give your client to understand what you have done. And also, it's also crucial if somebody else is taking over your file. So let's say you're on leave, reason somebody else has to come in. So they must be able to take over the file and continue the work and understand what you've done. We've got different statements. I'm not going to dive deeper into that, but this is going to be done in on Friday's session. But just a reminder that when you process a misstatement and how do we call that? Sorry, I got a small blank. And an unrecorded journal entry, which would be your misstatement, and the client accepts that it is a misstatement. Instead of reporting the TB, you'll change the type as normal because you want it to affect the TB and the financial statements. And this misstatement is going to change automatically. So it's just a reminder that the normal was a misstatement, and the journal will then flow to your automatic documents for overs and unders. Rest assured, this is covered in much more detail into our audit section of this series. The next part is the referencing to your supporting documentation. So if we are going to process a journal entry and you want to reference it to your supporting document, let's say to your bank statement, then you can use the option reference to your document manager. The processing window allows you to browse the account number from your trial balance. You can create a new account number if it does not exist, but please make sure that you ask for your manager, your supervisor, is there a convention when you create a new account number? Is there a convention that you use within your practice? Just make sure that you know that. The name will pull automatically if the account number already exists from the client's TB. Then under total amount, you can then insert positive for debit, negative for credit. You can modify that total amount column to show your debit column and your credit column. This will be done under the options menu. So I'll show you how to do that just now. Okay, let us go through the practice set. What we want to do, we want to complete our lead sheet by cross-referencing first, and then we're going to process a journal entry. So, let's open 420 authentic document. We're requested to complete the lead sheet by doing a cross-reference. So if you place your cursor on the top to cash and cash equivalent, let's go to rather net bank overdraft facility, for instance. Right-click over that line, select new document reference. It will open your document manager lists. We're going to browse through the lead sheets, current assets, cash and cash equivalent, and you should see all the PDF that you have copied on the document manager. Let's do the same thing for NetBank call. Right-click. This time you could select a hyperlink reference if you want. Then I'm going to type the label as bank statement. The type, the link type, I want to link a PDF. Then it will allow you to browse to your document manager. You can click on the folders, current assets. I'm looking for the call account and press on OK. The beauty is, again, it's all automated, it's hyperlinked. So if you're going to click on the link, it's going to open your bank statement. Now, what we want to do is open, for instance, that NetBank call account. So I'm just quickly going to do and ask you to go to, for instance, if you close that PDF that open, go back to Document Manager. We want to go through our NetBank call account. And before we do that, I'm going to ask you to right-click that PDF. We want to be able to modify and also to annotate this PDF. Right-click over that, go to Properties. And then under Properties for your NetBank call account statement, under the Viewer option, select, yours is currently External Image Viewer, select Internal Image Viewer. This option allows you to open your PDF within Caseware and use annotations like document reference, hyperlink, highlights, anything that you need. And when you double click, look at how beautiful this is. You've got all the properties of a lead sheet on the top. And if I scroll down through, I should see all the different items. Now, by looking at this lead sheet, what we want to do, not lead sheet, sorry, that bank statement, we want to process for an accounted interest that was capitalized on the 1st of May 2023, relating to 30th of April 2023. So these relate to our NetBank call account. We want to process that line item for 7,699. So to open your journal entry, let's press on Ctrl J on your keyboard or adjusting journal entries. It depends on you. Then select new to process a new journal entry. The entry type, for now, we're going to leave it as normal adjusting journal entry. The description, let's add unaccounted interest capitalized on the 1st of May 2020 relating to 30th of April 2023. You can also copy from your Word document if you want. You can also cross-reference on that journal entry document. Click on the reference and you can look for the document 420 something. Was it 420? So it was 421. Click on the drop down and look for the reference 421. And then we can start the processing. So the account number, you can either, if you know the account number, you can type it, or usually we won't know, right? Is the client's account. So what you can do is click on the drop down and let's look for net bank call account. So we want to debit the bank. So I'm going to sort by account number. It's currently sorted by name. So I can press on the heading account number. It's going to sort my account numbers. That's going to be easier for us. So we want to debit 8440, which is our net bank call account. You can scroll through 8440 000. You can double click to select. It will pull automatically the name, and then we're going to debit by the amount pulling from the bank statement. We can now, next leg, the next part is to credit the interest received. So I can click on the drop down and look for the interest received account number 2750 000. Click on select. And it will pull automatically your credit side. Now, I promise you that you can also customize this, show your debit and credit calling. So I'm going to click on customize, bottom right of my screen, then select show debit and credit callings. Guys, I really like that one. 2 a.m. in the morning, I can see that little negative sign. So I like to see my debit and credit. So you can also customize it if you want. But that's not mandatory, right? Okay. There's no process button into Caseware Working Paper. As you're processing your journal entry, if we move to cash and cash equivalent, simply click on cash and cash equivalent tab. You should see your adjustments column pooling with the value that we have processed. And the final for 4,064,000 plus 1,699 give us a final of 4,072,000. Now, what we want to do is comment on the bank statement. Let's click on the link, the hyperlink. We just want to comment here that we've inspected the bank statement and agreed all the balances. So to add a comment, you can right click anywhere on that bank statement. There are different annotations available. You can select new notes. You can type a note here. Just copy it from your Word document. And press on OK. And it is going to appear here. And if you hover your cursor, it gives you, again, a description of what you said and who created that. if you want to play around with it, with the annotations, please feel free to do it. That's extremely interesting. And for example, I can use the new highlight option. Maybe we want to highlight that interest capitalized. You can add a note you want, choose the color, any color, and press on OK. Forget about the physical pins now. You've got it all available electronically. Okay, so that was the lead sheet references. Now, I just want to comment here on your cash and cash equivalent. This is quite specific for the cash and cash equivalent works very nicely because there can be more than one lead sheet to consider when you're looking at your cash and cash. So if you go to current liabilities, bank overdrafts, double click, there's also the net bank overdraft. If you look at your cash and cash equivalents for net bank overdraft facility on year 2022, it was positive 556,808. This year, there's no balance under current assets. What you might want to consider is look at your bank overdraft and look at the value here. You will notice that the annotation to your bank overdraft facility has pulled here. So how has this happened? It's because if I go to the properties of my document, or my referencing, it says show on all documents global. That's why wherever it will see the document number 541000, wherever it sees that line item anywhere on Caseware, it will show the annotation, that facility statement. Now, I also wanted to dive a little bit further. How is it possible that this account number has pulled here? It is because of the mapping. If I quickly go to the mapping, enter this account number 541000. So this net bank overdraft facility has been mapped to current liabilities and the bank overdraft. There is an automatic flipping. That is, if it is positive, it's going to show into the right section of your financial statement. If it is negative, it's going to show in the right section. And that's the beauty of the technology. We take care of that to ensure that you report correctly on your different line items. So that's an automatic flipping. That's not something that you're going to do manually. You'll simply usually map your account number where it should be mapped, and depending on whether it's positive or negative, it's going to appear in the right lead sheets. Right. Alrighty, so we're done with the different sections that we are supposed to cover today. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to close Caseware. So before we end the session, what we want to do is nicely close our different Caseware file created so that we can, save space on our machine and continue with our day-to-days. So to close any lead sheet automatic document, you can press on the close the X button or press on escape on your keyboard to close everything. All you want to keep is the document manager. The recommended best practice, if you're not using Caseware Cloud, we're hoping that you do, but if you're not, you can then save compress your file. You're going to go to File, then save compress. File save compressed. It will then prompt you, do you want to compress this file? You can click on save. Why would you want to compress a file? It is to save space on your machine. It's like zipping a file. If you're using Caseware Cloud, there's unlimited space on your on cloud, so there's no need for you to zip your file. But if you're not, and if for this example, we're not yet exploring cloud, so you can go ahead and compress. Once you've pressed on Save Compress, you will notice if you go, it's not mandatory, but if you're curious, if you go to your default location, C program files x86 Caseware data, you will notice that there's only 1 or 2 documents within that folder. It means that your file is compressed. Usually you will get 50 or more documents within that folder. And you also usually won't be required to go into there. But it's important to know what's happening. So yeah, that's how you compress the file and how you can close nicely your different files. Guys, that was a real pleasure to be with you today and go through how to use Caseware Working Paper, the basic introduction. I'll now hand over to my colleague who will go through the closing notes. Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Sandrine, for that you shared with us today. Seems like my camera, there you go, it's just going on and off. We hope that you find this very helpful, and there will be quite a few still to follow, so please keep on interacting with us and sharing information with us. Just as a highlight for tomorrow, we'll be covering the financial statements. So for those of you that did register for that, you will receive an email with the link again, same place, same time, and we do hope that you'll be able to join us. And then as a reminder, on Friday will be the 2 assurance sessions. So we'll have Probe Audit and Audit International at the same time. So depending on your firm, you'll either follow the Probe Audit one or the Audit International. And then subsequent weeks we'll have the next sessions. Slide. Then you would see that we have quite a few LinkedIn pages. There's a LinkedIn page for this company. If you want to scan the QR code on your left, that will be Caseware Africa. And you'll see there's a lot of communication that go out there, new events, etc., etc. So please follow us on that. And then we have created a separate group for this link, for this Get Ahead series that we're doing for the next few weeks, and then after the accounting started. Please follow us on that. There will be some nice interaction there. We're going to do some polls on there. You're welcome to interact with each other on there. So it's really a platform for everybody that's going to attend this series to interact with us, and that we can also share some information with you. Then we also are available on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, so please follow us. All the communication will go out there. Then if you have any questions, we have tried to attend to most of them in the questions pane as they came through. We were quite a large group today, which we're very, very thankful for. But please post any questions that you further have, either here or then on the LinkedIn group, and we will attend to those. We will also send up some surveys. Please do answer them so that we can adjust sessions going forward and we can give your feedback. It's always, when we do virtual sessions, very important for us to make sure that it lands rightly. There was a few questions about CPD. I'm sure we answered them. Please make sure going forward that you log in with your own credentials, because we can't verify your CPD if you don't log in. And yes, the recordings will be made available. It won't be made available after each session, as we first need to collate it all together. But at the end of the sessions, there will be some recordings being sent out. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Cheers.